All right, a beautiful Friday morning here in San Francisco, California. Supposed to be in the 80s over the weekend. Nice, beautiful. But that's not what we're here to talk about, are we? There's yet been another new study. If the world's governments fail to meet Paris Climate Accord, the Antarctic ice sheet will melt faster in the coming decades. Really? Huh. It's a good thing they made another study on that. The world is headed to 3C. The world is also headed to an Antarctic tipping point in 2060, according to this new study. That's 2060. Antarctica will be on a tipping point where it will just melt away, and there's nothing humans can do about it. I think that's optimistic, really. 2060. I think it's much closer than that. I'll go up this way and do the other couple of articles I have, because we have known that the tipping point for the ice sheets, I think, is already passed, to be honest with you. I would be real surprised if you could lower the emissions of the world enough, fast enough, to keep the emissions down from melting completely away. So a lot of people don't quite understand sometimes when I will talk about 2 or 3 different subjects. That's what we're doing today. It's because the first subject there wasn't enough on it. And here comes a group of people. Okay, let's try it anyway. The U.S. fertility rate dipped to its lowest since the 1970s. Look at the birth rate by age groups. As you can see, every age group is down here in the U.S. as far as birthing children. Maybe we're getting somewhere that we're too overpopulated, and they're finally starting to understand. But we got to get this message out worldwide, not just the U.S. The birth rate for the U.S. is down by 4% since 2019. So, on this next article, we have China emissions now exceed all developing countries. Now, I have an issue with the word developing. I think they should call it either the oppressed nations or the oppressor nations, because that's really what it is. Most nations are pretty much caught up with every other nation in many ways, so why even call it third world or developing or any of that? Just call them oppressed nations, because that's the truth about the matter. The heat-trapping gases are CO2, CH4, methane, and nitrous oxide rose to 14.09 billion tons per year from China. But China has a very ambitious goal to become net zero polluters by 2060. They hope to build up their infrastructure so that by 2060 it'll be pretty much net zero. Kind of interesting thought. China accounts for 27% of the global emissions. The US accounts for 11%. India is up now to 6.6%. You see, it's always easy to say you're going to cut emissions by such and such date, but as we've seen, all countries are still going up in their emissions, not down. And COVID was the only reason that emissions really sort of flatlined for a little while there, but now are, of course, headed way up. And all countries are pledging net zero by such and such date, but reality is nothing much is going to change, because politicians, like people, don't want to bother with it. Too much work, too much hassle, you lose too much. So why bother? Well, 3 degrees is a death sentence to most humans in the most horrible way. Starvation, heat, exhaustion, water evaporation, disease, you name it, it's coming. Unless these countries do something about this emissions problem immediately. Oh, it's such a beautiful day. Lots of busyness going on. I'm gonna head on out, and I do definitely appreciate all your guys' comments. I'm sorry about what YouTube is doing. It's not me doing it, it's YouTube doing it. But no matter how many comments they bury, I can still find them. So if you want to just comment to me instead of everyone, and you're blocked for some reason, go ahead and comment. I'll get it. Until then,